bango. The boys are back. NBA playoffs has started, and we're rolling.
Yeah, it has.
It is full effect.
There's some teams rolling.
There's a lot. Yeah, you would say some teams not rolling.
Others have square.
That's why they give you 7 games to try to figure it out, potentially.
I don't think it's going to matter for a lot of them.
Yeah. We'll wait and see.
But that's why we're here, to give you...
Let's give you our 2 cents to let you know which ones might be worth a watch.
and which
ones you can bypass.
Will be over before you even have a chance.
Yeah. So...
And with that...
We might be starting with one that might be over before we even get a chance.
Yeah. We're going to work Eastern Conference, Western Conference today. It'll probably be short and sweet.
Yeah.
To be quite honest with you. But Celtics and Heat. Celtics won by 20 first game. 114-94.
And Jimmy's out for the whole series, so I think this one is...
Was there ever a chance that he was going to come back? Because I don't
think there necessarily was, but that doesn't matter because if he's coming back after Game 5 or after Game 4, they're going 4-0.
Yeah.
I mean, this won't even be close.
Correct.
And so...
But I think that is what most people thought was going to happen, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, most people probably had the Celtics running... I mean, like we said the first episode, most people had the Celtics going to the championship.
Or winning it.
So we're going to the championship or winning it. So it's like, hey, this is cake.
Right.
So,
yeah.
I mean, even with a healthy Jimmy Butler, I think it's a little closer, but I still think Celtics still roll.
It's either 4 or 5 games.
Yeah, they don't have any spots. They don't have any holes. So there it is. Jason Tatum, triple-double.
Yeah, we definitely saw the better teams. I mean, I did see this. All home teams won.
Yep. There was no upsets.
Which means that all the higher seeds won.
Yeah, there it was.
So that's what we get for game 1s of the series. I think.
To be honest, there was only probably 2 that were particularly close.
Yeah, I mean, you can kind of see like what series is going to be. What series is?
What series? I think it's just series. Which series are going to be? You're trying to say series is. It's just series are.
Series with a...
Oh, with the accent.
Apostrophe after that.
Oh.
Maybe?
I think it's just which series are.
Oh.
Yeah.
This next one, the Knicks and the 76ers, potential to be closer.
Yeah. Depends on health, really, in this one. But I think it's crazy because...
I think health is
normal. Yeah, but I think at the same time, you watch how bad the Sixers are without Embiid on the floor. And you have a scare in Game 1 who the way he went down in Game 1, I think everyone was like, this guy's done.
Yeah,
I mean, that was...
He probably thought that he was going to be done too.
100%
so
when it comes out.
When was that? Second quarter?
Second quarter. They said that the Sixers outscored the Knicks by 24. They were plus 24 in quarters 1 and 3. Most likely when Joel Embiid was playing. The majority of the time.
Yeah, so he got hurt probably, midway through the second quarter?
Mid to late, I think, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Dunked it for the first time on his reconstructed knee.
Yep. And his eyes were like...
Oh, he looked like, yeah.
It looked like he was having a stroke.
He looked like he saw something that
he lost control of his body.
Yeah. It was definitely very interesting. I mean, I'm glad he's back. I mean, you never like to see that, I mean, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I think after he went down, you could kind of tell up to halftime, you could tell that the Sixers were out of whack. I mean, obviously you lose your best player, but even
they
then
only scored 12 points in the second quarter?
Yeah. They struggled. Well, and the difference was Embiid obviously plays the whole first quarter. He sat out the first few minutes of the second quarter.
Right, so then he came back and
that's when injury happened, so.
Yeah, he had 12 points. Their whole team had 12 points in the second quarter.
Yeah.
And the Knicks had 33.
Yeah, it's wild. That's crazy. But I do think that series could be a lot closer. I think potentially, I mean, that game was back and forth. I think the Sixers were up going into the fourth quarter, then at the end of the game. And I mean, even at the end of the game, Josh Hart made like a step back 1 foot 3-pointer to put him up by 5.
He was
balling somehow.
He was the guy that was making all the shots down the stretch.
Yeah, 13 points in the fourth.
It will be something to like. I feel like Jalen Brunson will have to play better than he did for them to continue to win these games.
Yeah.
Because he didn't score a lot, and he's gonna have to score when it gets down to it. Like it seemed like he was very passive at the end of the game.
Mm-hmm.
And granted, this time the guys were making the threes, so it didn't really matter. But like as it gets down to it, that I feel like that's what everybody is always so worried about him with, is since he's a smaller guy, like when it gets down to it at the end of the game, is he able to score in the moment?
Mm-hmm.
You
still
know,
had 22 points, but yeah, when you shoot 26 times,
yeah,
you only make
22
8 times.
points.
Yeah, that's not great.
On 26 shots, that's bad.
Well, I think this is the reason I think a lot of teams probably will put a question mark on the Knicks to make it further too, is because if you have one guy in Jalen Brunson who can't really score, you're relying on a Josh Hart who during the season, Josh Hart was averaging like 8 or 9 points.
Right.
So it's like,
and
who's going to step up? DiVincenzo was like irrelevant almost too.
It surprised me that he was out of the game for so long, and he isn't, at least in game one, he wasn't at the end of the second quarter, which is when most of the starters are playing, and it didn't seem like he was in towards the end of the game either.
Yeah.
So it's like, this is supposed to be your second best scorer.
Yeah. Well, I think, to be honest, I think they got, like, obviously very fortunate Josh Hart took over too, but also Deuce McBride hit a few big threes. He was playing very well. He can shoot it though. Yeah, he can shoot it, but I'm just saying they kind of just rolled with the hot hand, and DiVincenzo just wasn't really it. So it'll be something to watch. I think the difference is on the other side, like, okay, Joel Embiid will get his, but like when Joel Embiid goes out of the game, who's going to score? Someone has to score. Tobias Harris ain't it, so you're going to put a lot of trust in Maxey in them, who can score. But the second teams, it just doesn't seem like anybody who's going to play on the Sixers, like Batum.
Batum has been shooting well.
Shooting a lot.
They need more from Oubre.
They need more from Oubre, and they need a legit more from Tobias Harris. He's your second. Do you know he's paid $39 million a year?
That's a lot of millions.
To average 7 points, Chris? That's a lot. So I think he
averaged more than 7 points. He scored 7 points in the first.
Yeah, he probably averages around 12. But even to get that,
no, he's got to be higher.
I think he needs to step. I mean, he just is
17.
17
during the regular.
What's
season?
His last few games? I feel like he's been bad.
Last 10, 17.
Oh, and then the last game was just 7.
Well, the last 7 games, he's averaged 17.7.
So if he could step up, this team has a chance. I guess the first game just depends. Maybe the jitters.
Yeah, so before that, 21, 14, 15, 18.
Yeah, so if he can do that, that's great, because that kind of helps out without Embiid. When Embiid goes and sits in the second quarter. So.
But I don't know if he's playing those minutes. Like, I don't know their rotations that well.
Yeah.
You know.
It'll be interesting to see. I mean, someone else has to score instead of Embiid.
Because right now, there's 4 minutes left, and all those guys are still in.
Yeah, Buddy Hield came in, and Batum, but yeah. We'll see.
But
hopefully
Buddy Hield only played 11 minutes in the first game. He scored 0 points. That can't happen. They got to get more from...
They got to get somebody more from other guys besides Maxey and Joel.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yep.
That series could go.
The other one that we're keeping an eye on is the Bucks and the Pacers. We already talked about Celtics.
Yeah.
Bucks and the Pacers.
Yeah, that was a very exciting
everybody was picked. Everybody was on the Pacers. They're like, they don't have Giannis.
They're the favorites.
I know, that's nuts.
I mean, I think the reality is
1.5.
Yeah, 1.5. I think. Dame played out of his mind
in the first half.
I mean, he didn't really have to do anything in the second half, but that first half he did not
do anything. He had 0 points.
That's what I'm saying. He didn't have to. They were up by so many.
Can you imagine scoring 35 points in one half and scoring 0 the second half?
And I will say this though, I watched some of it, and it literally was like the second half. Oh, the second half, he literally just would stand in the corner, and he would be like, "Pep, you go run the plays." In the first half, he was like, "Hey, I'm going to get the balls."
Well, because they didn't let him do anything on offense. The Pacers, right? Like they were sending guys at him.
Yeah, but I think he made. Nembhard's a good defender, but these shots he made were. It didn't matter who was guarding.
I'll be honest, hand up, didn't watch the half of the game. I was just keeping track of the box score.
It was literally step back threes. It was like Dame, old prime Dame, and then at the end of the first quarter, step back 3 from God knows where.
Yeah.
And it was like, it's going up, and you can bring 2 guys. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
So that'll be interesting to see how that plays out, obviously. Giannis potentially could come back game 3.
Is that 4? What they said?
They are saying that, but now it's like, I mean, the Pacers will probably be the favorites again, I would assume. Maybe 1 point.
On
Maybe
Tuesday?
it might go the other way.
Really?
Yeah. If Giannis isn't playing. I think the Pacers played awful.
They did.
So that's what I'm
But
saying. I think
it literally goes back to what we said last week. Halliburton has to play better.
Yeah. I think Miles Turner needs to play
what was
better.
his stat line? Halliburton.
4 of 7 shooting, 9 points, 8 assists, 7 rebounds.
Exactly. That's not gonna cut it.
Well, that's not awful. I mean, Miles Turner.
What do you mean? 9 points and he's their best player?
Yeah, but when you look at it, I mean,
How many assists?
8 assists, 7
8
rebounds.
assists.
I mean,
He has the ball in his
you were
hands
down
every
69
single possession.
You were down 69-42 at half.
Exactly. What's he doing? He's not assisting and he's not scoring. What's he doing?
8 assists is decent.
Not for him.
I mean, here's the reality though. When your team shoots,
He has the ball every single possession.
yeah, but if a guy shoots 5 of 17, so if this guy makes 4 more shots, he now has 12 assists. I mean, Miles Turner was 5 of 17 shooting.
Halliburton needs to take over.
He should. I mean, I don't know if he's a takeover guy. He's a good player, but
He needs to. He needs to play better on offense.
yeah, of course. I mean, they have a lot of guys that need to play better on offense.
But he's number 1 and number 2 and number 3.
I would say he's probably just number 1. Siakam's a solid player.
No. He's number 1, number 2, number 3 of people that have to play better.
I'm confused. What do you mean 1, 2, and 3? How do you become all 3?
There's such a big gap between him and everybody else.
Oh.
He's the one that has to lead them. He's the best player on their team. He's the point guard who has the ball in his hands every single possession. He's the one that the whole offense runs through. You can't just have 9 points.
Yeah.
That's not going to cut it. And 7 shots for your best player? I know he's not a scorer first guard, but 7 shots in the whole game? That's not even 2 per quarter.
Yeah. Would probably. I mean,
2 shots per quarter, David? If
maybe
you
the
played
Bucks
in an
were
NBA game, you could have 2 shots per quarter.
I don't think I would hook him up like that.
38 minutes, and you can't take 2 shots per quarter.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see what happens. We'll see what they do.
That's bad.
Yeah.
And 0 free throws. I mean, what is he doing out there?
He's not driving. I mean, he's not really a driver anyways. He's more of a
The
puller.
drive and kick.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying.
And if you drive enough and you're kicking every single time, eventually you're going to have some wide open layups because they're going to think, oh, he's just going to drive and kick again.
Yeah. Maybe it was the Pat Bev
That
effect.
stat line does not cut it.
Maybe it's Pat Bev effect.
That's why they got blown out.
Yeah. Well,
It has nothing to do with Pat Bev.
defensively?
No.
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
If you're the best player, one guy just can't do that to you.
Yeah, we'll see.
I think. So this series, not gonna be going the distance.
Yeah, I think a lot of people had high hopes for the Pacers, but I think it's the same reality. If you're an offense first team and don't play defense,
And you scored 94 points.
right, and you give up
my
69 points in the first half. I mean, it's pretty demoralizing.
That's bad.
So,
They have to be better if they want to make this series competitive.
yeah.
Last one,
Horrible.
Cavaliers Magic.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Do you
Both
remember
teams
what-
are horrible.
Do you remember what happened? What we said last week?
I said the Magic would go in 7? 7?
I don't know the exact game, but you thought the Magic were gonna take
I
it.
thought the Magic would come out a lot better. I mean, it's the
Ugh.
same. You scored 83 points.
Oof, they were bad.
I mean, you scored 83 points. 83 points. If
This-
we're talking bad, 83 points. I mean, that's what I'm saying. 83 points. So Jalen Suggs is 4 of 16. I mean, I think the difference with the Magic, what's hurt them so much, is the inexperience going into this game. Cavaliers are a very good defensive team, but the inexperience going into the team. And then, like I said, it's the same thing now. They let up all these runs, and then they don't have a guy. The regular season is so much different compared to experience level.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't have that guy,
Tried to say it.
I think the Magic will still somehow win one game out of this series.
I mean, winning one game out of a best of 7 is not very good.
Yeah, it's not bad though. Build for next year. It's not bad.
I mean, it's a 4-5 matchup. It's supposed to be a hard series.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one is 4, maybe 5.
I think it's 5. I think they'll step up at
One
home.
of the two.
I think they'll play fine at home. Yeah. You got to show out at least once.
But that was, that game, the Bucks, Pacers, and the Celtics Heat, all 3 of those series, so 3 out of the 4 series in the East were terrible for the team that lost. Like, terrible. And the way that they played makes it very hard to see that they're going to put up any challenge in the series.
Yeah, in those 3 games. Yeah.
The only one that gives you hope is the
Sixers.
Pacers.
Yeah.
No,
the Sixers.
Out of those 3.
Oh, yeah. Pacers, potentially,
Me personally, I'm leaving the Knicks Sixers out because that one is a more competitive series. But out of the other 3 series, the only one that gives you hope is the Pacers, and that's purely because Giannis is out. That is the only way that series is going to be close, is because the best player on the other team is potentially out.
Right.
Or out, and then
if
potentially
it comes
gonna
back,
stay out.
it's even worse.
Yeah, exactly.
So
the other 2 series, they're going to be done before you even know it.
Yeah, I mean, the Celtics will be fine.
Brutal.
So we'll see.
And then the Western Conference, we'll start with the 1 seed because that's just what we're doing. But we got the Thunder and the Pelicans. This series is kind of opening my eyes a little bit.
To what?
Why people wanted the 8 seed.
Yeah, but wait, pause. I said this, that the experience will hurt the Thunder, and you came back and said the Thunder will be perfectly fine. They have the best player. They got Shea. They got all this stuff, and I said, dude, I'm telling you, this experience. This was a home game.
Yeah.
And they won by 2, and McCollum had a chance to win it.
Yeah, he did.
And they don't even have Zion.
Not a very good shot.
No, but I'm just saying, still potential. And Zion wasn't even playing. I don't know if Zion's. I don't know how injured he is. But
I don't think Zion's gonna be.
I think the Celtics kind of showed out a little bit. I think
the who?
The Pelicans showed what they could do and make this a series. You have Brandon Ingram have 12 points.
No, I thought you were saying the Celtics.
No, the Pelicans.
The Celtics.
No, the Pelicans.
Okay.
But I'm saying you have a guy, your best player, Brandon Ingram, 12 points. You only lost by 2.
Yeah, he hasn't been right since he came back from injury. I don't even know if he's 100%.
I don't know. But I'm just saying he's got to step up. McCollum seems to be kind of bumming it out there. So I'm saying you're starting, you shot 38% and you were within 2 points.
Yeah.
So
that's because the Thunder didn't score for like 5 minutes down the stretch of the game.
I mean, they were tied 43-43 at halftime. 43-43.
But that's what the Pelicans have to do.
No, that for the Pelicans, yes. But the Thunder score 43 points.
Yeah, that's not very.
I mean, the only way these teams, just in general, the lower seeds are going to compete is if that higher seed, like you can hold them to that low of points, and then you just make baskets. I mean, you have to outscore them.
Yeah.
Because the problem is right now, it's like all these higher teams are they're defensively just dominating.
So the Thunder, they scored their 88th point with 6:03 left in the fourth quarter. Their 88th point.
It's awful.
With 6:03 left in the fourth quarter, they didn't score another point until 1:36 left in the game.
That's bad.
And they went from up 5 to then down 2.
Yeah, they were losing
before they scored again to tie it up.
Yeah, they
with
were
a
losing,
minute 30 left.
I don't get it.
You cannot have those scoring lapses down the stretch of a game.
Yeah.
Especially in the that
the playoffs,
can't happen.
Yeah.
You got to figure out how to run a play that is going to get guys that can make shots.
Either make shots or get to the bucket and get fouled or something.
Right.
You have to have some kind of way to do that.
Yeah, you cannot do that.
Yeah.
Where you're missing that many shots down the stretch of a game.
Right. And I think that series will be very interesting. I mean, the thing is when you watch the Thunder, and like you said, if you're the 8 seed versus the 7 seed, I mean, the Thunder, obviously you want to play the Thunder over the Nuggets, but the Thunder have that inexperience, and also they have, like, Shea. If Shea has a moderately bad game, you have, yes, Jalen Williams, but, like, besides him, maybe Chet, but, like, Giddey ain't going to do it. Giddey can't shoot.
Giddey doesn't play as much.
Yeah, I mean, he
only played 20 minutes last game, and he's kind of like he's a good fill-in guy when somebody's missing, and he can help run the offense. But he's not a good shooter.
Can't shoot.
He is not a great defender. So, like, you're putting him in there to help run the offense, but he's playing off the ball, so it's a little bit harder for him to do that.
Yeah, I think it'll be very. I mean, they just need somebody else. Shea will be fine.
Well, it's those three. Those are their guys. Chet, Jalen Williams, Shea. Yeah. Those are the three guys. They don't really have anybody else.
Zion's out. He's getting reevaluated in 2 weeks.
Yeah, he's out. He's for sure out. I mean, when they showed him walking around, he was walking with a limp just from the bench to the guys coming off the court at a timeout.
Yeah.
So he's out. He's not coming to play. But the Pelicans actually match up pretty well with the Thunder because Valanciunas is a big lug and he can kind of body Chet.
Oh, he's physical.
But then when they don't want to body Chet, then they can put Larry Nance in there, and he's a little bit more dynamic, a little bit smaller, and he's a little bit more athletic too. So they can give them both looks, whereas the Thunder, I mean, they're bringing in the other Jalen Williams. They don't really have another big guy, so like
they go small.
I mean, that's where you see
Wallace.
Valanciunas 20 rebounds, 13 points. Like he can kind of dominate in there.
Yeah. I mean, he's always been physical. That's why the series would definitely be different. I think the Thunder will figure it out, but I think it would be different if Zion played because they're just so much more physical.
Does this change your opinion on the Thunder? You think that they're no problem into the next round and potentially into the conference finals?
I think the next round could be a lot tougher. I think
they're locked to get into the next round?
I do. I think they'll win this series. I mean, I think this series could be a lot more competitive, like 6 games potentially, but I think the Thunder will take care of business.
Yeah.
Because I think also at the same time, it's that first game in the playoffs. Also, I don't know if this matters, but you're playing at 8 p.m. on a Sunday night. You're waiting the whole series.
You're literally the last.
Like, wouldn't you rather wake up and be like, okay, I'm going to go play at 12 o'clock? Right, you're sitting around all day doing nothing. Well, gaming, doing nothing.
Yeah.
And so it's like, hey.
And you know these boys are gaming because they're young.
1,000%.
No, they're actually gaming late Saturday because they know.
They can sleep in.
Shit, our game's not till 8 p.m. We can sleep in, do whatever we want.
Yeah, and shoot around's probably not at 8 a.m. It's probably at 10:30, 11.
Yeah.
Go get lunch with the boys. Go back in game.
We can stay up till 2 or 3 a.m.
Yeah, of course you can. So yeah, I think it will be very interesting. I think that they will be fine, but definitely it's not as easy as you think.
Yeah. Might be a little bit harder than the Nuggets because they're playing the Lakers.
Yeah, the Nuggets should be fine.
What was it, 114-103, game 1.
Yeah. But that game was a lot closer. I think that game, Nuggets went on kind of a run at the end, but that's just what the best teams do. I mean, they kind of just took over. That game was very close. The Lakers were actually up, I think, the majority of the first half when I was watching it, but...
Okay, so they were up, and I agree with that.
Yeah. I think fatigue is playing a huge factor.
Did you see enough from the Lakers to make you think that they have a chance, or
to win the series, or just to win what?
To push it to 6?
No, I think fatigue will play a bigger factor, and I think you have too much pressure on D'Angelo Russell, who I just don't think can live up to it. And he's your next best guy. He's your 3.
I mean, anything is going to be better than what he put out game 1.
Let's not speak too soon. I mean, just saying.
No, that's a fact. Anything is better than game 1. I mean, that's not to say that I don't think that he can do a game 2.
Yeah.
I mean, he has to if they got a chance. But I mean, what he put out there game 1 was just not it.
Yeah, that's the hard part. You're playing 41 minutes, so you have Anthony Davis playing 45 minutes, LeBron 41, D'Angelo Russell 41. They're X amount. I know they played a lot of games this year, but you get fatigued, and next thing you know, I mean.
Yeah, but I mean,
who are you going to bring in for him? Spencer Dinwiddie?
That's what is going to end up happening. Most of the best players should play around 40-ish minutes in the playoffs.
Oh, 100%. I'm just saying I think the fatigue is going to really hurt them, and that's why I don't see this series going
word on the street is Christian Wood's coming back game 3.
We'll see. I think it's hard because you look at the Nuggets and they're just so... well versed. Their starting lineup is very good. They don't have Jokic runs the offense, but he's not like prolific scorer. They have 5 guys that can all move and score. They have very athletic guys, in my opinion. I mean, Jamal Murray's a beast. Michael Porter Jr. is good.
I don't know if I would say that they're the most athletic.
I would say they're. Then who's the other team you'd compare them to? That's
well,
more athletic.
I would say Aaron Gordon's athletic, and I would say Michael Porter Jr. is athletic.
I'd say Jamal Murray's pretty athletic.
I don't know. I wouldn't.
What do you mean?
I wouldn't say that.
Huh? I think he's one of the best point guards / athleticism in the league. I would take him
Best
over
point guards and athletic are 2 completely different categories.
What makes him not athletic?
I just don't think that he's explosive athleticism wise.
Okay. Who would you have over? You think D'Angelo Russell comparatively on the other side? You think he's less athletic than D'Angelo Russell?
I don't know if I would say D'Angelo Russell's that athletic either. He's crafty, shifty. I wouldn't say he's super athletic.
I think he's athletic.
Athleticism to me is like being a good athlete. He's super skilled, don't get me wrong, Jamal Murray. But it like when I'm thinking athleticism, I'm thinking like jumping, dunking ability, quickness, all of those types of things. Like the physical attributes. That's what makes you athleticism. That's what makes you athletic. It's not being super skilled.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is when you watch him play, he has the ability. Like, is Steph's not athletic then?
Not super athletic, no.
What? Oh my gosh.
He's very skilled.
Okay. He's athletic. He can get where he wants to get to without the ball. He's shifty.
LeBron is athletic.
Because he's 6'10" and he can jump. You're basing it all off guys who can jump.
I'm basing it off of their athletic ability.
To jump.
Physical wise.
To jump. And how big they are and strong.
That's part of being athletic.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. So that's what you're basing it off of.
That's a big part of it.
Okay. So then a lot of these guys...
Anthony Edwards, athletic.
Okay, so Anthony Edwards is almost probably the only athletic one on our team.
Let's see. Mike, no.
Towns, no.
I would
no,
say
because Towns is not very athletic. I mean, Towns is not fleet of foot at all.
I would say Jaden McDaniels is on the edge. I would say Nas pretty athletic. I do think
Nah?
Yep.
Okay. Because wait, what's his premise?
I think that he's athletic.
Like, so but he can't, he's not a high flyer. He's
No.
not strong.
I think that he just like the way that he moves is athletic.
You're switching up the thing of athleticism now. Because Steph Curry, the way he moves is athletic. But he's not a high flyer and he's not strong.
I wouldn't say that he's super athletic.
Okay.
Yep.
If anyone wants to comment who's more athletic now or Steph Curry, feel
mean,
free. Feel free.
I mean,
but based off of
the only one that you want to compare?
Well, that's the guy you said was athletic, and you said Steph was not. I mean, LeBron James, yes, is very athletic, but I think a lot of guys in the NBA are athletic.
Would you say Jalen Brunson is athletic?
I think Jalen Brunson is very, very shifty and quick, yes. Your definition of athletic and mine are way different. Mine is, can he get to his spot, and is he quick and shifty? That's what I think is athletic. I think, yes, there's a part of it where it's like, okay, this guy can jump out the gym. Okay. So Zach LaVine is very athletic.
Okay.
But then...
So then the other question that the people will have to answer is Jamal Murray athletic?
I think so. Yeah, you can answer that.
Okay.
Yeah. So there it is.
All right.
We'll see what happens.
All right, we're moving on to the Wolves and the Suns.
Very exciting series. Probably the best case scenario for the Wolves game 1.
Best case scenario, I agree with that. Do you think that it's a sign of things to come, or do you think that it was more of a fluke and every other game will be much closer, or at least a little closer to what we had seen earlier this year?
Yeah. Well, I think every game will be closer. I don't think that's out
25 points.
25 points is not. And that game was over. I mean, the thing about it was...
It was over towards the end of the third quarter.
Yeah, watching the game is...
But not really before that.
Every single time like the Timberwolves or even the Suns made like a little push, like 4 or 6 straight points, somebody on the Timberwolves would hit a 3. And it would quiet them down, or Ant would take over.
Made a lot of threes.
Yeah, 100%. And everyone was hitting threes.
Yeah.
And so I think that's the difference is, and then with the Suns, I mean, they must have had a ton of turnovers. Turnover-wise, it seemed like they had a ton of turnovers. And also at the same time,
same amount, 15 each.
Devin Booker did not play very well comparatively to, I think, what people expect Devin Booker to play. Kevin Durant was fantastic, but he can always get his open shot and do whatever.
Yes.
I think the difference is with the Wolves is you also held Grayson Allen very minimally.
Well, I mean, that's what Stephen A. Smith was saying too. But I think it is fair to point out he pretty much only played just over half the game.
Correct. I'm saying if like you look at these other guys, like Booker had 18, Beal had 15. Well, if those two guys are going to combine for 33 points, they will lose the majority of those games they play. So that's a good recipe for success.
If you look at that, 18 points for Booker on 16 shots. That's great.
For us.
That's great for the Wolves.
Yes, 100%. That's what I'm saying is you kind of held them. They don't have, especially if those guys are struggling, yes, Kevin Durant will get his, but like Nurkic isn't a profound scorer.
No.
Grayson Allen, like you said, didn't play as much and wasn't very good even when he was playing.
Yeah.
So your next guy, Eric Gordon, had 0 points. He was 0 of 5 shooting. I mean,
they need at least 70 points, at the very minimum, 70 points from those guys.
I would say higher than that. To win, I would say they need in the 80s, to be honest. They don't have other guys that can score if Grayson Allen ain't going to play.
No, I know. But, I mean, usually, like, if he would have played his normal allotment of minutes, he would probably have closer to 10 to 14 points.
Yeah. Which is fine.
You know.
100%, which is fine. I think the thing is...
So what was the biggest reason why the Wolves dominated?
Well, I think defensive intensity...
Yeah, you can't say Anthony Edwards.
No, defensive intensity was through the roof. Every guy was helping out on defense. And, I mean, I think we kind of were talking about it when we were watching it, but when you look at this, like the series, like they just stuck with the hot hand. Like Na was playing very well, so he stayed in. Mike Conley didn't play probably nearly as much as he's used to. I mean, they just had the matchups. And like I was saying, you have way more depth than the Suns.
Mm-hmm.
The Suns have, I mean, they played 7 guys, and they had Eric Gordon and Royce O'Neal. And Royce O'Neal probably played his most minutes he's ever played in this
That's
this
because
season.
he filled in for Grayson Allen, and 2, somehow he was making literally almost all the shots, it seemed.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's better than Eric Gordon. Eric Gordon couldn't even, Some would say he couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat.
That is what some people would say.
So I think the defensive intensity was great. I think Ant obviously was the superstar.
Yeah.
And he'll get the credit. But I think when you look at it...
It's nice to have a guy like that.
100%. Every team... I mean, I think the difference is when you look at a lot of these teams, every team has, I mean, not to that extent, but a very good superstar. I mean, Kevin Durant can compare to Ant.
Look at that athletic fella, 18 points.
That doesn't mean he's athletic. It means he's a good shooter. I mean, he did shoot very well. He deserved to play 29 minutes.
I know, I'm just poking him proud at you.
I mean, even the same thing. The crazy thing is his Cat didn't even really seem like he was very relevant. I mean, it was Ant's game.
He started off the game strong, did what he needed to do, and then as it got down, as the game progressed and we were able to find different matchups that we liked, he didn't have to necessarily carry the weight of the team on his back.
Yeah.
You know? So, I mean, it was a perfect amount. Like, I mean... We still have to remember he's only 3 games back from tearing his meniscus or hurting his meniscus.
Yeah.
So like in theory, the hope would probably be that he doesn't have to carry the whole team on his shoulders because they're just like they're stopping Ant and we need another scorer. Like that's why Nas was so important. Not to say that he's not still important, but like that's why he was so important when Cat was out was because he was our secondary scorer.
Yeah, Nas is a great guy to come in with that second team because he can score and he.
But even he didn't really play that much. I mean, he played 20 minutes, but it seemed like him and Cat kind of phased out, and we were able to finally find a smaller lineup that was able to match up well with the Suns, and we still were able to play Rudy.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be very interesting to see if we can continue that trend. Like I said, our defense was fantastic. I mean.
Okay, what's your key to game 2 for the Wolves to win again?
The key to game 2, I would say, is you're gonna have to continue to push the pace and continue. I mean, the hardest part about the Wolves, at least what I think about, is they get in sometimes these modes, and granted Ant took over and was making shots, but they get in these modes sometimes when they're winning and it comes fourth quarter and all they start doing is playing one-on-one basketball. Like, you just have to keep going and keep putting the pedal to the metal in the playoffs. Like, I think during the season, sometimes you'll see we'll be up by 10 in the fourth quarter, and next thing you know, we're down by 2. And we're playing one-on-one basketball and hucking up a shot. That didn't happen this game. Granted, like I said, in the second half, every time they went on a little run, we kind of combated that and just stepped up. I think also offensive rebounding. I think if you have Rudy out down there, Rudy's a very unsung hero. Just rebounds the ball. Quiet 14. 6 of 7 from the free throw line.
Did you see? I mean, our team was 20 of 22.
But 6 of 7?
That's elite.
That's very good.
Did you see that the NBA players voted and he was #1 most overrated player in the league?
Overrated?
Yes.
Wow.
That's what the players said.
What was I wonder what it was based off of.
Just
like
the players voted and he was #1 most overrated in the league. Like, specifically named Rudy Gobert, most overrated player.
It's kind of interesting because he's the defensive player of the year this year. He's playing very well. He's averaging probably a double-double. I don't necessarily know how he's overrated. I think he's gotten a lot more skilled. I think last year you could probably consider, and a lot of people were probably like, this bro is way overrated. He couldn't catch a ball.
You wanna give your vote for most overrated player in the league?
Most overrated? Oh, that's on the spot. I'll have to think about that.
I'd like to throw a name into the hat. Tobias Harris.
Okay. Yeah, Tobias Harris sucks. That's probably true.
Because I'm sure people are looking at how much money somebody makes and their production. Yeah. Right? Like,
but that's what I'm saying. If you look at
those
Rudy,
are two easy things.
If you look at Rudy was paid to literally be a rebounding, like he was paid to be a presence down low. He won defensive player of the year. How is that overrated? He's doing his job.
Yeah, he's getting paid to be one of the best 5 defensive players in the league. And
to be honest,
who's gonna win defensive player of the year? It should be him.
I mean, to be honest, he's the best defensive player of the year. I mean, let's be honest, he's the best. I mean, he's a rim stopper. And now that he's even showing a little bit of offensive touch.
I mean, heck, all he needs to do is rebound, keep playing defense, and make those free throws, and we're good.
Yeah. I hate to do this.
Because the rebounds are going to go.
I hate to do this, but this year probably most overrated was Clay. Clay stunk.
Clay Thompson?
Yeah. I don't want to say it, but he was so bad for what they needed. And
he's definitely in the running for sure.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately.
I can't remember.
Especially for a guy who's built off shooting like that, and he never, I mean, just feel bad for the guy.
Yeah, I can't remember who else is in the running of that.
That's an award? That's like a
not an award. It's more of like a survey result.
Oh, from the people?
From the players. From the players. Yes, it's a.
That just doesn't. I just don't understand the Rudy slander. It just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, so
the best defender.
Yeah.
This is the players?
At least Jim McDaniels got some love, 8.3%.
Bruh, but this is what I'm saying, like, how is he down here?
Yeah, that's why. That's part of the reason why people don't respect him. Yeah, keep going. I mean, it's wild that Jokic is second.
Jordan Poole. Jordan Poole is a good one, too. Yeah, Jordan Poole. I'm surprised you didn't say him, because he's a pretty obvious.
I wasn't thinking about him, to be honest with you.
Karl Anthony Towns. I mean, I don't.
But look at that. 13.6%. The next closest Jordan Poole is 8.6.
I will say Trae Young's probably. This is probably fair. These two are fair. Rudy's the slander's bad, but these two are fair. Jordan Poole's ass,
and then
Trae Young's pretty.
Dylan Brooks. Like, the expectations for Dylan Brooks are very low.
I think they also took into account like injury. I mean, Anthony Davis
and Jason
Tatum, just an potential MVP. Demonis Sabonis. I mean, this is whack.
I know, but that tells you. So
only 81's votes
in the whole league.
Yeah, so whoever these 81 were probably just had this slander. To be honest,
so 15% almost of 81 votes is about 9 to 10 votes. So out of the 80 votes, he had about 10.
That's crazy. I mean, the crazy thing is though, is the statistics look big, like 5%, but that's like 2 votes, 3 votes.
Yeah, that's true.
Jordan Poole is ass.
Yeah, I don't get it.
This is also just a wild, like Tyrese Haliburton and like.
They, based off of game 1, not too far off. But not too far off. Just saying. All right, let's get this last series out of the way. Clippers, Mavericks.
This was an interesting series also, or an interesting first game.
The Mavs just, I mean, they just can't let that happen, to be honest with you. The Clippers did not have Kawhi in game 1, and the Mavericks just did not come ready to go.
No.
It's a similar case. They got 2 guys that are doing everything, heavy lifting. They scored, 70-ish?
Luka and Kyrie, 64.
64 out of the 97.
7 of 18 from 3.
Combined.
21 of 44.
7 of what?
7 of 18.
7 of
So that's
18.
about 40%, 30%.
Yeah, so that's not bad.
Yeah, but when you're shooting 21 of 44, about 50% again. The problem is who's the next guy? I mean, this game, I was watching a little bit of this game too, and the reason why I think the Clippers potentially, James Harden played very well, but the reason the Clippers could struggle is it came down late again, and there was 5 straight possessions that they just passed it to Paul George, and he just held the ball until there was 6 seconds, and then made a one-on-one move. That's all the Clippers do.
Yeah, they're more one-on-one focused.
They're all one-on-one, and you didn't, like you said, you didn't even have Kawhi, who, I mean, if they lose by 12 to, they scored 8 points in the second quarter. 8.
And we thought the 12 for the Sixers was bad.
Yeah, 8.
Okay.
So
Not great.
I don't know. I don't know about the Mavericks. I think the Kyrie and Luka will find theirs, but like you said, I think the biggest question mark is PJ Washington.
Yeah, they
11 points. They don't have anybody else.
They scored 97 total points.
Scored 8 points in a quarter, Chris.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. Just for those that aren't aware, 12 minutes in a quarter.
God, and a basket's worth 2.
Yeah, that's 4 baskets. You're not going to win a lot of games when you score 8 points.
Yeah,
in a quarter.
So that series. I mean, if Kawhi comes back, I don't know his injury extent, but that could be a tough series for the Mavericks. I think that he was
practicing last week, so
I thought it was a potential he would play that game.
Potential it was. So now, to be quite honest with you, he isn't as rushed. Like if they would have lost that game,
right?
The time starts ticking, and it's like, all right, we got to get him back here because he's our best guy. But now it kind of delays the need for him to come back. Obviously, if he's ready, then he's going to play, I would think.
Yeah.
But it's not like, oh, we desperately need him right now to win this series.
Right, because you already have that game advantage.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I definitely think it's very interesting. Ooh, Jalen Suggs, not great. So, yeah, that series could be tough, too. I mean, there's the underdogs, really, I just don't know. I mean, in the West, I just don't see any underdog. I know people might say the Suns, but after how the Timberwolves played game 1, oh my God. Just keep it rolling.
Okay.
Gas pedal.
Would you say that the Suns are the most likely underdog to
win the series? Their series?
To win their series?
Yes. Yeah, I would. Just because they have the star power.
You got no chance for the Lakers. You got no chance for the Pelicans. The only 2 options are the Suns or the Mavericks.
And Mavericks are god-awful.
Yeah, but I think that they can...
You could make an argument for both.
Because they're offensively driven.
Yeah.
Right? And so you think that their offense at some point will figure it out? So
yeah,
I think that they probably the most likely. Because I also think that there's question marks for the Clippers.
Yeah. But it depends. You could probably make an argument. I mean, both could go, but damn. They both teams, Suns and Mavericks, look god-awful in the first games. Mm-hmm. So there it is.
That's what I think. Is that what you think?
I mean, it is kind of crazy, don't you think, that they give you 2 days rest? I mean, the playoffs go forever. Don't they? Like,
you're saying that...
Speed it up.
It's funny to me that the NBA during the week has 3 games each
per day,
night.
And then Saturday, Sunday 4. Or
yep.
Fridays. Is it Friday too?
So every series... has at least 1 game on Saturday or Sunday. Right?
Yep.
But then if you look at the NHL playoffs, they started on Sunday. So they started they started Saturday. They have 4 games like tonight, Monday. They have 4 games tonight.
Yeah, I don't get it.
So why are we going 3 and they got 4?
Yeah. Well, on Wednesday, we only have 2. This is why it extends for so long, though. And you look at this scheduling until Friday. Friday's all ESPN. So the NHL probably doesn't play Friday. Or they're on some other channel. It's only TNT and NBA TV.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't, it's interesting. It's very interesting, but I think this is also why.
Well, yeah. They're probably not going to put 2 games on NBA TV. That's probably a lot of TV revenue lost.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying, though. That's why you only have 3. Especially if you don't have another TV channel. So
it tells you things that you might not think are driven by TV revenue.
Everything is.
It's definitely driven by TV revenue.
Everything. It's crazy. But there it is. I mean,
keep watching.
Yeah, we'll talk to you. I mean, baseball season will almost be over by the time the playoffs are over, huh?
True.
That was psycho. That was sarcastic.
You're so funny, David.
The twin series, the twin season might be over by then.
Probably.
So
I agree. Yep. Alrighty. Well, see you guys later.
Catch ya. Go Wolves.